Hello, this is Chase Morrison with Profitwyse. Welcome back again to this fourth edition of how to create a financial dashboard. In this edition, we're going to finally focus on creating an actual graph. So let me talk a little bit about what we're going to do here. Well, first we're going to highlight our data series, and then we're going to set up the graph. Then we're also going to color the graph and border area so that it's consistent with our marketing. We're going to set up the dual axes, so we're going to show you how to do that and why we're going to do that. And then finally, we're going to show you how this defined name that we've been talking about, which is named, the defined name is name, M-E-Num, how that actually gets used in the different graphs. So let's take a look at Excel. So here we are back at Excel again. Over here we're showing you what our graph should look like at the end when we're all done. Over here at the right is all our data. So let's first start off by highlighting all this information that we're going to want in a graph, and then we're going to go ahead and insert a graph. So we highlight it, go to insert, and for now we're just going to have it give us a basic line chart, and this two-dimensional chart is fine. So as you can see here, we have something that looks very different than what we have over here at the left. So we're going to start to make change. First thing we talked about a couple videos ago is that we don't really want to use the chart title up here. So we're going to get rid of that. Next is that when we grabbed our data down here, this one revenue trends line is not really a line. It's just a title for the graph. So let's get rid of that. So we want to go up here to select data. And here on this revenue trends, we can just remove that. So that gets rid of one line. Now we're going to want to start to think about which line items go to our left axis versus which ones go to the right. So the way that this chart over here is set up, our design chart, you can see that on the left side, this is the year-to-date numbers, and then over here on the right, this is the monthly number. So we're going to want to start to identify which data series go to a bar versus which ones go to a line. That's generally easiest done here on the change chart type. So you can see over here we have kind of this axis button, secondary axis. So the total year, we are going to want that to relate to the year-to-date and annual numbers over here. So we're going to want that to stay on the left axis. The prior year, that we're also going to want to stay on the left axis because that's just an accumulation of our annual monthly numbers. That's this red line here. So the monthly actual, though, we're going to want that to go to the monthly side. So we're going to want that to be on our secondary axis. The year-to-date actual, we're going to want that to stay on the left axis, on the year-to-date axis. The monthly, this one, we're going to want that to be on our right side. So that starts to align our left and right axes correctly. So now we're going to want to start to think about changing some of these, the type, because everything is aligned. That's what we defined at first. So the total year, which is in blue, those are columns. The monthly and the monthly plan, those are columns. The other three items are just lines. So we want the total year to be a column. So we're going to pick that. We want the prior year to be a line. We want the monthly actual to be a column. We want the year-to-date to be a line, and we want the monthly plan to be a column. So let's see what we have now. Okay, so now we're starting to get somewhere. So you can see that over here we have our monthly totals, and over here on the left you can see we have the year-to-date total. Now over here we want to what we want to do is we want to highlight our numbers and make the outside area of our graph a darker color. So I'm just right-clicking here, Format Chart Area. I'm going to hit Fill, Solid Fill, and I'm just going to make it a black color. Okay, so then I want actually this inside my graph color to be a shaded color. So here I just right clicked inside their plot area. I'm going to take a gradient fill, and this just picked up this blue color. I'm going to switch this blue color to more of a gray color. I think I'm fine with the gradients, but I'm just going to change the color of the gradient. So the way you do that is you just have to click on each one of these little markers. Probably don't need this marker. Get rid of that. I just clicked on it and pushed it off, but this white one I don't need to change. I'm going to change this to a gray color. So I'll just pick that, and then I'll make this one a darker gray color. All right, so that kind of starts to give me a little bit more of a gray color here in the background. But now all of my numbers here you can no longer see. So you can see we have a nice gradient gray color here in the middle of our graph if I get rid of that. But now you can see we can't really see our numbers. So for now, let's just make these a white font. So easiest just to go up here to Home, click white, click bold, click over here, do the same, click white, click bold, and now we can actually start to see our number. Now down here you can kind of notice that our legend has disappeared. So let's click on this graph area and shrink this down a little bit so we have a little more real estate for our legend. Let's click on our legend. I'm going to right click, Format Legend, and I'm going to just put in a solid fill that's kind of this medium gray color again so that we can actually see it, what it says. Then on our text over here, we can make it bold. We can make it a little bit bigger font size. Okay. All right. So down here now on our x-axis, we also have the same problem where we need to make it white and a bit bigger. Let's see if we can squeeze it in at 12 points. All right, so we're getting a little bit closer. So now what we want to do is we want to start to get it a little bit closer to this original graph here. So now one of the things that probably isn't clear is that since these total year bars are on a different axis than these monthly bars, I can kind of make them bigger within the space that's provided within each column. Now these monthly bars I can't really do a whole lot with, so I'm going to go ahead and change these and make them bigger. So I'm click on it, Format, I'm going to hit Format here. Then I want to change the gap width, so let's start to decrease this. So you can see here it's getting bigger. So I really want this annual column to be bigger than the monthly columns. Then I'm going to go ahead and change the coloring of this to a gradient fill. And I'm going to use this blue color that we had before. But I want it to be darker at the top and lighter at the bottom. So I'm going to pick this kind of bluish color here. Then I'm going to pick a little bit lighter blue color, and for the last one, an even lighter blue color. There. All right. So now I need to do the same on this bar over here. Gradient. Okay, so I just clicked on gradient and it set it to the same color. I also want on here, I want the border to be on here. Just a simple black border is fine. Solid line. Right here, black. Just got to change the color to black. And then that should change this to both. Okay? Okay, so once again, I'm going to change these orange monthly bars to our colors that are consistent with our branding, so the orange and the purple. So let's start with the monthly, and we're going to change that to orange It's basically the same thing that we just did with the total year. Go to gradient. So here I've set the orange to this darker orange color, the middle to this medium color. I'm actually going to move this over so it shades a little bit sooner, and then a very faint at the bottom. And then on the plan, this is the monthly plan, I'm going to again change the fill to a gradient, and then I'm just going to change this to all these to purple. So over here, start with this purple. I'm just going to set these all to the same purple here at first, and then I'll customize this a little bit. So in this, I'm going to, I have the purple set, I'm just going to lighten it up. And then I'm going to set this to the purple again, and then do the same, just lightening it up, even more so than the last one. Okay. So that kind of gets me the look I'm looking for. Then there is making it a bit more consistent with the other one, with the orange bars. All right, so now we've changed the background, we've changed the bars. What I usually like to do is I like to make it a bit clearer as to which of these lines is which with some dots, and I like to leave the prior year just without any dots because it de-emphasizes it in the sense that really in the current year I want to pay attention to where I am on an actual basis as well as what the plan is where I am in relationship to those two. And then the prior year is just information for the business owner so that they can kind of get a sense as to how they're doing versus the previous year. And I also like to increase the size of the line. So here I'm going to first change this to more of a red color. I just want to keep the line a solid color, but I do want to increase the size of it. I'm going to increase the size of all these lines probably up to about 4 points. Okay, then I'm going to change the color to that red color. This is probably as good a color as any. That's close enough. And then I want to make this line here, this is the year-to-date plan. So I want to make this a dashed line to make it clear that this is just a plan. It's not the actuals. And I want to put a marker on it. So again, I'm going to go solid line. I'm going to change the color to a bluish color. Actually, I'll make it a purple color because the other lines are kind of this purple color. I'm going to increase, or the plan is this purple color. So I'm going to make it 4 points, but I'm going to make it dash to emphasize that it's a plan, not the actuals. And then I'm going to put a marker on it. So you got to click over here to put in a marker. We're going to want a solid fill that is, let's see what color. We'll just take kind of a light color, perhaps this orange color, and we do want to make it a little bit bigger, very small squares. So to change the marker type, I would like diamonds. So first off, you have to click the built-in markers, pick the diamond, then you can increase this to like 8, and you get a sense as you increase it as to how much bigger it's getting. So I think that is pretty clear. And now I want to change my actual lines. Generally my actual line is always black. I mean, you can pick whatever color works for you, but I would say that you want to be consistent. We want to increase the size to 4. And then we want to add markers. So over here in my example, I've got circles, yellow circles with red outlines. So again, I'm going to go to marker options, built-in, circle. I think we had 8 was the size of the other ones. Going to make it a solid yellow color. So I'm going to just pick that yellow color there. And then the borders, I'm going to make a red color. And I guess I'll make that line a little bit bigger. Okay. Well, let's see. Looking at my example, I made the markers bigger. So let's make them just a little bit bigger here. So that's it for this video. I'm going to show you on the next video how to add in the series numbers and how to set this format of either millions or K dollars, so that both your axes and in your series reflect the correct formatting. Because otherwise, if you want to put the numbers in, they just get too wide if you're going to put in 200,000 or million over this number. So you can see here how that is just 0.2 for 200K, which would be takes up a lot less real estate on the graph than some other number. But over here, it's 200K. Okay? We'll see you at the 5th video. Bye. We hope you found this helpful. Please subscribe and comment down below to help us improve our content. Feel free to visit our website to learn more about our services at profitwyse.com, and have a great day. Bye.